Hey there, sheepy doodlers, how are you doing? Well, I am going to have to just pop up a thing. We're having a little trouble here. I have got Steve, and I just need to get that screen up. Oh no, it was over there, and I got two screens, so I'm taking that over there. Now I can read your comments. So there we are. We got Alisa Drooby, hello. Tudor G, waiting for the live stream. Here we are. Milos 15 gameplays. Hello, Shoo, Rayner. Oh, that's me. Tudor G. Amy, hi Amy. How are you doing? Tudor G. So excited for this live stream. Jessica Taylor. Hello. I'm also looking forward to the live stream. Hannah Fountain. Looking forward to another live stream. Such a great artsy break in my at-home work day. So, well, I am going to try. I'm kind of assuming that this is actually streaming now. So, in fact, what I'm going to do is, we got Jose Adriano Hueros. Opa, que legal! My first live stream from Brazil. So we are going around the world. So I'm going to now click this, and hopefully I want you out there to tell me if you can see Steve and if you can see me. I'm not quite sure which camera I'm on. There is no logic to this at all. It's going to be very messy. So can you tell me? Crispy Joy says no rush. We've got 12 weeks. Could you tell me one? Can you see me? Can you see Steve? And can you hear me? And can you hear Steve? Can you hear Steve? And can you see him? We have about a 10-second delay. Hey Renita, how are you doing? Lots of hello. Oh, we can see, but it's super echoey on my end. Oh, right. There we go, Jessica Taylor. So I think, because we got the cam link open. Right, let's mute that. And then Skype. So we should be... Can you say something, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh. Can you hear Steve? Can anybody hear Steve? I think I've cut the echo.
So I am just here holding my mobile phone, enjoying this whole live session. Great to be here with you virtually, Stu. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Steve. Well, we got... Judah G says yes, which is not very helpful. Oh, yeah, we can see Steve. Can you hear Steve? So D. Costa says, yes, we can hear and see him. Yay! Oh, so, yes, we can see both of you. However, there is a bit of a big echo, but I think the echo might have... Oh, the echo's gone. Good. There we are. I think we're there, Steve.
Yay. Excellent.
So, hi there. Yeah, so I'm looking over there now. So I tell you what, I'm just going to undo this. I'm going to move this camera over there so that you can see me. I will get this sorted for next time. In fact, we have got Renita Boyle on here as a chatting down there. Hi, Renita. Renita's an old friend of mine from Wigtown in Scotland, although she's actually from Wisconsin. And should be there at the moment, if I remember rightly, Renita, seeing your family, but yeah, not able to travel. So I'm hoping to have Renita on sometime, maybe later this week, maybe next week, talking about storytelling. She's a fantastic storyteller. She does all this kind of stuff, you know. So she sings crazy songs and stuff. However, we have got Steve Antony here. Yay!
Really excited to be here on the show here. It's a huge learning thing for me. I've never been on a live. I don't think I've ever been on a live kind of YouTube thing before. Via Skype. So yeah, this is really cool. Yeah,
this is a learning thing for me because I don't know there's something not right. So I will spend tonight going through tutorials on how to get the Skype operating with my streaming system. So, but I'll get it right.
I'm actually in my bed because this is the best. I've got this is where I get the most internet connection.
Yeah.
So I was in my studio just now, but the internet is just so slow right now. So this seems to be the best spot in my house for the connection. So I'm just led here in my bed.
Well, maybe you have a new future ahead, because I find when you look on YouTube, you find all the beauty girls and guys who do beauty and makeup. They all seem to be doing it from their bed as well. So.
Well, there you go, Steve. And actually, you know what? Some of my best stories I actually write and draw when I'm in bed.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Perhaps I should do it more often.
There are times I usually find it in February, and it gets to about 2:30, 2:45 in the afternoon, and I get the kind of winter blues. Sad, and instead of February, I just sort of suddenly find I'm really, really tired and fed up, and I say to Mrs. Rayner, I'm taking my sketchbook to bed, and I go and sort of sit in bed with my sketchbook, and but quite often some amazing ideas come from just sitting in bed with a sketchbook.
Yeah, I think so. I think actually, it's when you're doing nothing, when you're just on a sofa or in bed, just doing nothing and relaxing and just allowing thoughts just to kind of go in one ear and out the other, just kind of not thinking too hard. I think that's when I tend to get the ideas, which is kind of hard to master, because the ideas tend to come when I'm not thinking about ideas.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to bottle that special thing. I don't know what it is, but it's that sort of that inspiration.
Yeah. And do you carry a sketchbook with you everywhere?
Actually, I would love to say yes, I do, but I actually don't. But I do have lots of sketchbooks.
Yeah.
But I do always have something to jot down ideas on, even if it's just my mobile phone.
Yeah.
Because you can hear, I might overhear a conversation, or I might see something on the cover of a magazine, or you never know when you're going to see something that could really inspire you. So I always try to have something.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've got my phone on me all the time, so I've always got my phone to jot down ideas. But I do keep observational sketchbooks.
Yeah.
I have observational sketchbooks where I go out and I draw what I see in front of me, and that's just a really good way of relaxing, and it's also a good way of coming up with new ways to draw.
Yeah.
Because you're not thinking too hard. You're not thinking too much about what you're drawing. It's in your sketchbook. No one needs to see it. It's just you and your sketchbook. And I think it's really cathartic to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And question just went straight out of my head there. Someone says Steve is a little quiet, so I'm not quite sure how I can bring him up louder, I'm afraid. If I bring, am I very loud and then he's not quite so? Can you say something, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here. I can shout if you want me to.
Right. Okay.
Am I okay?
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. Yes. I'm not entirely sure that you're coming through.
Okay.
Anyway, well, I'm hope you're. Are you being? Are you? I'm going to ask a question. Are you hearing Steve okay at all?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay? I am here, waffling on about sketchbooks and things. Right here. Yeah.
There we are.
Talking away. Can you hear?
Well, there's this 10-second delay, which is a real drag with the chat. Yeah. So we start broadcasting about 10 seconds before people actually see it. So if I ask a question, I have to kind of wait.
All right.
Yeah. So I have to sort of wait for a reply. So I know, I remember what I was going to ask. If I remember rightly, you went to Cambridge College of Arts and Technology, which wasn't anymore and is now Anglia Ruskin. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. I went to Anglia Ruskin University in Cambridge. Back in 2010. So I was there from 2010 until 2013. I did a part-time course. Yeah. It was 2.5 years, 1 day a week. And it was a master's in children's book illustration, which at the time was headed by Martin Salisbury. Right.
I'm thinking that people are hearing you through my speakers, so I'm going to turn the speakers up. Because I was there when it was Cambridge College of Arts and Technology a long time ago, back in 1979 or something. I know I don't look old enough, but
Did you spend time in Cambridge? Because I mean, although I was there for 2.5 years, I rarely spent time in in Cambridge, walking around, which is kind of a regret. I kind of wish I would have spent more time just exploring the beautiful city, but I didn't really do that. I just went to university. Then again, I was driving all the way from Swindon, which is like 3 hours away.
Not every day?
Oh no, not every day. It was once a week on a Wednesday. So I would wake up about 5 o'clock in the morning, get onto the motorway. I would arrive in Cambridge for about maybe 8 o'clock-ish, 8:30, and then I would leave about 4-ish and get back home about 9-ish, 8, 9. So I would actually spend more time in my car than in the classroom. Oh. But it was just one day. It was 1 day a week. I would have lived there. I would have moved there, but I wasn't able to do that. And because it was just 1 day a week, I could justify it. It was okay. It wasn't too much. It wasn't too much driving. And I couldn't get public transport either at that time in the morning. And actually, there was one person on the course that travelled from... Vicky, her name is, and she travelled from, I think, Devon, and she used to have to catch the midnight train. The midnight train.
The midnight train from Georgia.
Georgia. She used to get the midnight train from Devon, or I think it was Devon, and I don't know what she would do in that, because she would arrive really early. I mean, she was there super early. 3 in the morning or something, I don't know. So it wasn't too bad for me. 3 hours on the road wasn't that bad.
Well, I just moving the camera, putting it on a tripod. There you are. I was really lucky. I went there in the days when we got grants and stuff like that, and so I had three great years in Cambridge, and I stayed living there for about 2 years afterwards or something as well.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, and,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so,
I know it's a lot harder now, and I was quite lucky actually, because to be honest, the only reason I was really able to afford going to Anglia Ruskin is because I was made redundant. Well, I took redundancy from a call centre. I worked in a call centre for about 9 years.
Oh God!
And I took redundancy, and so I had a bit of money, and I was able to then apply for a place on that course, and I was very lucky to get on the course. Actually, I think the year after, or maybe 2 years after, the course fees, they went even higher. They're even more expensive now. So it's difficult. But I always tell people, you do not need to go. Some people think you have to go to university to get into the creative industry, and I guess there are some jobs where you do need to go to university within the creative industry. But actually, if you want to be an illustrator or an illustrator writer of children's books, you definitely do not need to go to university.
No, and I think it. I think when you've got something like Scooby, have you been involved with Scooby at all?
Not like a massive deal, to be honest with you, no.
But I've known them since they kind of started up over here in the UK, and they brought so many people along as writers, and I remember meeting people 10, 15 years ago who were just very hesitantly writing new things and are now kind of big names, and there's that kind of support group has brought them along, but it is about doing the work though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think having a support network is brilliant, which is why Scooby is fantastic. Having knowing people who are doing the same thing that you're doing, knowing people that you can ask for advice, you can share ideas, that's really important. Because it's quite a solitary job, working away, drawing and making up stories. And it makes such a difference if you can, connect with other people. And the internet is amazing in that we can use it to do just that. And so, it certainly helped me, that's for sure. Knowing other people that were, also interested in illustrating and writing.
Yeah, I've just put it up on screen. SCBWI is the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. And if you want to get involved in writing yourself, Look them up, SCBWI, on Google, and you will find them there. And they are incredibly friendly, incredibly helpful, and really, really supportive. So if you want to do that kind of, feel like you want to, and various people have actually contacted me since this whole lockdown business, saying, "Oh, now I'm at home. I think I'm going to try and write that book I've always wanted to do, or illustrate that book I've always wanted to do." And so Scooby will be there with, it's not just a support group. They kind of have a playbook. They know how to get you into places and how to get you started. So they're really good. So now look, I'm just going to switch camera to this. And now I'm showing. Oh no, that's the wrong one. No, it isn't. No, it's not. That's okay. Let me go onto there. So what I was going to do was show. I'm showing your YouTube channel for a start.
Oh, my new YouTube channel.
Yeah. So I hope you're all subscribing. I think you've got 31 subscribers now. How many? I think.
Well, I just started it. To be honest, we're all at home. I mean, I work from home anyway. Yeah. So, but now now here in the UK, we're all staying in. Yeah. So I thought it would be. I thought, why not just create a sort of an online workshop or masterclass for kids that are stuck at home.
Yeah.
And so I started.
I'll put that on there.
I started it last week, and I'm really enjoying it. And I've had some, people who have watched and who have commented. Now, unfortunately, because on YouTube, it's classed as kids content. People can't comment on the YouTube channel itself, but they're commenting on Facebook and the places where I post the link.
Yeah. I've got that your website up on the screen at the moment, and so if you go to steveantony.com and you click on whichever bit it was, the daily videos or the draw a story thing. Draw a story.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm trying to daily vids. If you click on the daily vids up at the top, that will tell you. And we've got a whole series of videos where Steve is going to help you kind of work through ideas of making picture books and stuff like that.
And the one that I'm really looking forward to doing is the one on Thursday, which is where I will be talking to people. I mean, fellow illustrators, fellow authors. And aspiring, I don't like that word. The thing is, right, I feel like I am still an aspiring illustrator. And I'm always aspiring. Whether you're published or not, we're all aspiring, So that's what the Thursday video is for.
Okay, let me stop you there. Who are you aspiring to be? I bet there was one picture book which you thought, whoa.
Oh my goodness, there are lots of picture books. I look at them and I think, oh my goodness, I need to aspire even more. I mean, there are so many amazing picture books out there, and I guess I don't know. I mean, I feel like my comfort zone as an illustrator is continually expanding and widening.
Yeah.
I'm developing new skills, and when it comes to writing, I'm developing new skills. But sometimes I think of a story, or I might write a story, and I think to myself, I'm not going to be able to illustrate this. It's interesting actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think of stories, and I don't think I'm the right person to illustrate this because I don't know how to draw. Or paint in a certain way. So for me, I started off by, I guess you could say, working within my limitations. And then slowly and surely, my skill set gets, as I was saying, my comfort zone begins to widen, and I'm constantly learning new things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still aspiring. I will never stop aspiring.
And currently, or you've just about to come out, is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yay! I can't believe it. Yes, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And I've actually managed, I can say that now without stuttering. Chitty, or almost. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yes. Ian Fleming's Chitty.
That's a huge accolade to be asked to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Peter Bentley, Peter Bentley recently adapted 101 Dalmatians into a picture book.
Yeah.
And he adapted Chitty Chitty Bang Bang into a picture book. So So I've illustrated his adaptation of the book, and I've just finished. In fact, you know what? I've actually got the proofs here.
Oh.
I think. Give me just 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I think I brought them with me. Yeah, I did. Okay. So I can show you the cover of. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. Fantastic.
So yeah,
and we got lots of viewers in the States as well that watch this. So is that going to be the same cover in the States? Do you know?
You know, I don't know. I really don't know. That's a good question though, because it's often the case that the covers do change.
Yeah. And quite often the language changes, doesn't it?
Yes. No. Absolutely. No. Absolutely. And I always find that so fascinating. Several of my books have different covers in the States, and some even have different. Even the stories are slightly, slightly different.
Yes.
In the States. Than what they are in the UK.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not entirely sure. That book comes out in the UK in September.
Right. Good.
I don't know offhand when it will come out in the States, but normally it's a few months afterwards.
Yeah.
Unless they want to do like this. I mean, sometimes they're able to release books at the same time.
Yeah.
Which I know is quite difficult for publishers to do. So I don't know if they're going to do that with Chitty.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
You can't see Steve's cover. That was. He was holding it up. Oh no! Yes, sorry. Yes, I haven't got. I'll put it back. Can you hold your cover up again?
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm wondering if I can make that bigger somehow. Yes, there we are.
The thing is, though, it's actually quite reflective, and it's
no, we can see it. That's fine. Yeah. And I'm wondering whether that has. There's a. Oh, I see what's going on. That's showing it through. Ah, right. Okay.
Is it reversed?
No, I'm just working out what's going on with. No, I'm just trying to work out how to get you on a better camera, really. So if I do,
actually, there is I have got it on the cover is on my website, so it's quite easy to find. If you go on to.
I did see it. Yes.
Books. Yes, if you go on to books,
yeah.
And there's a really clear image of the cover on there. So
there's Mr. Panda. I'm just looking for it now. Yeah, there we go. More info. Yeah, there we go. So I can now switch over to that, and then there we are. There's the cover, and I can move. This is insane. There we are. So there's you can pre-order even. Fantastic. So if I come back to there we are, and we can see. Now Mr. Panda is who you're already known for. He's your kind of big character, isn't he? And and I've been sort of look. I haven't actually got a copy of Mr. Panda, which I should have, shouldn't I? I should have got one signed from you years ago.
I can send you one, no problem.
But it's no good for now, though, is it? However, looking at trying to work it out, I'm kind of thinking, is that digitally drawn?
It's not.
It's not.
In fact, all of my drawings are drawn with a pencil.
Golly, yeah.
And I do use Photoshop, but to begin with, all of my drawings are with pencil. I've actually got Please Mr Panda here as well. I mean, it might be quite pixelated on there. Yeah. But so Please Mr Panda is the first one in the series.
Yeah.
I use graphite sticks, so that the fur of Mr Panda is graphite sticks. Right. I use my finger.
Yeah.
So I take the graphite stick, like it's like charcoal, and I brush it with my finger, and I use my finger to create the arms and the legs and the body and the eyes. But I use Photoshop to manipulate the color.
Yeah.
So it's all hand drawn, but I scan it in to Photoshop, and then I can manipulate the color and tweak things when I want to. So my keyboard is very messy from where I was. My keyboard, honestly, I had to clean it regularly because I'm quite a messy artist, and especially when I use the graphite sticks. And I use graphite sticks in quite a lot.
Yeah. Because I was kind of thinking, how can I show people how to do this? You know, and I've been thinking of this really wet on wet watercolor technique.
I would love to see you draw Mr. Panda, Shoo.
I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll go through it tomorrow, or I could do it now. It depends but you can't see what I'm doing, can you? So I think it would be better if I did that tomorrow. I'll show you how to draw Mr. Panda in wet on wet watercolor technique using PBO drawing gum for the eyes, because the eyes are so clear. Are you doing that on Photoshop? Are you kind of clear them?
The eyes. Okay. You know how screen printing works?
Yeah.
Where you have a limit. Normally with screen printing, actual screen printing, you normally use only a few colors.
Yeah.
Because it's quite a laborious process to screen print. Well, if you can imagine, when I create my work, it's a bit like screen printing, but it's done digitally. Yeah. So what I mean by that is I draw my pictures, and then I use my light box to deconstruct the pictures. I trace over my drawing, and I deconstruct it. So, for example, I will just, for example, with one sheet of paper, I will just do the fur, the black fur, what's meant to be the black fur, and then I'll do the white fur, and I'll do the eyes.
But will you do? But when you're doing the white fur, are you doing that in black, and then you reverse it? In photo, because I was looking at that and thinking you got a beautiful texture around the edge of the panda in white, and I'm thinking, how have you done that? And I thought you must have kind of reversed it out some way like that.
I did reverse it. It's actually quite a laborious process. It does take a long time. I mean, the Mr. Panda books are really fun to make, but and they're quite simple, really. But when I'm working on the more detailed books, and whilst still using that process, it can take a long time.
I bet.
So I think carefully about the colors that I want to use.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do end up just using a stylus pen to digitally color in.
Yeah.
If I've got loads of colors, there are some books where I use a whole multitude of colors. So it's going to be impossible to do that, to apply the same process to a book with lots of colors.
Yeah. We've actually got a question here, which I can ask you. See, we've got D. Costa says, I have a question. I have a hard time drawing characters in different positions. I can do the normal head on the front pose, but other angles or poses twist my brain. I've got a video on this. If you go and look on Shoo Rayner and put in characters from different angles or something like that, you'll find that. But how about you? What do you do? What... Have you just done loads of life drawing in your time and you just kind of got it in your head, or what?
Who, me?
Steve. Yeah.
Okay, so I find that difficult too. It can be quite tricky because you can draw a character face on, and then when you have to figure out how to draw the character from a different angle, it can be quite challenging.
Yeah.
So what I do, what's really helped for me is, I mean, you're right, life drawing is helpful, but I actually find that drawing from life, as in people moving around, is even better. So what I sometimes do is sit down somewhere outside, and if I can't do that, then I will go onto YouTube and find a video of people moving around. Any kind of video that shows people moving around. Yeah. And I would just draw those people. I would draw them, and I won't pause it. I would try and capture those moments really quickly as possible. And by doing that, you don't think too much about the anatomy. You don't think too much about whether you're drawing it correctly. But what you do is you end up capturing the movement and the essence of the character. I think sometimes we get so obsessed with getting everything just right, and we don't really have to do that. But that's a good question, because even with Mr. Panda, I mean, sometimes I have drawn him in pretty much every single at every angle now. Yeah. But for the earlier books, I did struggle a little bit trying to figure out how does Mr. Panda look from behind, or from the side. So I guess observational drawing does help, or just using YouTube, draw from YouTube, and of course your little video too, Shoo. They're very helpful.
Yeah. In fact, I'm just gonna show. It just dawned on me that If I show Shooby-Doogle, hashtag Shooby-Doodle on Instagram, where people have been sending their things in, and we have got Camilla Bianchi art, who's inspired by yesterday's drawing there. And thank you very much. There's a bit of Spanish there. Inspirada pela transmissão ao vivo do Shoo Rayner. There we go. This is very international. And then, so that's the picture I did yesterday. If we can get that, that's the one I did yesterday. Sorry you can't see this, Steve. You can watch it on playback.
No, I'll watch it afterwards. I can't see it.
But I'm sort of slowly working towards this. So this is Multifarious Guy, who's done 3 of the stories from last week. I really love your thing of Victoria, the Wednesday Market Bus. That is such a hard drawing. And he's also done yesterday's drawing Sideways, which is interesting. Well done. And the Faithful Fountain has done yesterday's drawing and added a Superwoman cape. And I love this whooshy, swishy stuff down at the bottom there. That's really good. But what I was going and make sure, if you're going to do sort of a panda yourself, make sure you put it on here so I find it. But I was going to show you this one here by Sharon Greaves illustration. And she says, look up, look down, all around, Laura character coming along. And she's been looking at my video, and you can see I've based it all on spheres. And if you kind of work out how to draw a sphere, you can twist the sphere around and use that as the essence of moving the character around, the character's face around. So let's come back to Steve. There we go. Have we got any other questions? Hannah Fan says, how fascinating to hear the process. Had no idea. And D. Costa said, that's so clever. It forces you to kind of screenshot the poses in your head to get the gist. I'll definitely try it. Carrie H. Hatwell says, are we drawing today? Shall I do this panda thing, do you think, Steve? Because I know people are sat here. People are sat here poised with pens and things like that. So, but you could chat in the background while I do this. Okay, I'm going to go over to the overhead camera. There we go. And I can move that around so you can see what I'm doing. That looks about right. So, okay. Well, are you watching? Are you ready? Have you got things? I reckon Mr Panda is basically like a horseshoe kind of shape.
Yes.
With a line at the bottom.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly. Honestly, that's exactly what I say whenever I draw the character.
I so want to bring you in on this, but I just swap cameras.
It's like it has gone into my head. That's exactly what I would do. I do a horseshoe and a line.
Yeah, there's a horseshoe and then a line up from the bottom for the legs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I say it's like a T, like a letter T shape.
Yeah, upside down.
Yeah.
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 And then, are you dyslexic like me?
I'm not. No. Do you know what? I actually don't. I'm not. People say I am, but I've never been diagnosed, and that's another conversation.
Oh, well, that's another conversation. Okay, and then the arms, I'm going to do kind of like 2 jelly beans on each side like that, which you can't see, I'm afraid.
Oh, but I can imagine them.
I tell you what, I don't know which camera. I think you're seeing me on. If I block that camera.
I'm looking at you from behind, so I can see you drawing.
Oh, you can see. So can you see me on which one? Which camera is that? That one? Am I?
Like what with your hand? You were on it just now. Your hand was touching it just now.
Then I can show you. Look there.
And the other one around. Turn around behind you.
Oh, behind you.
I'm behind you.
That one.
There you go.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and then we're going to want to have. Where's the one that I did before? Yeah. So we're going to want what I am going to do first of all is I'm going to get my gum right. So you might not have this, but I've got this blob of gum, and I'm going to draw in blue where the eyes are going to go, and leave it a moment to dry. Because we want the eyes to be really white coming out of the black eyes, don't we? Excuse me. And then we got 2 little ears on the top, and then you can have a little donut hat as well if you want. And what I'm going to do is draw a little line down and a little mouth. So this is what we got at the moment. Where is that?
Other way, behind you.
Behind you, so it's behind me. There we go. So The blue bits are gum resist. So I'm going to let that dry. And now, if you are watching at home and see, I need more water in my brush. So I'm going to try and do that. So, oh no, I don't want to do it that way.
So what are you using there?
So,
is it ink? You're using?
I'm going to be using watercolor.
Watercolor, okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to be using neutral tint, which some people haven't got in their boxes. So if they want to try, they can do ultramarine and burnt sienna. But to be able to do this now, I'm going to use neutral tint. So I'm going to make sure that I've got my tissue here, and I'm going to make sure that the brush is absolutely clean. This is my Pentel Aquash water brush, and by squeezing, I'm going over the edge of the of that kind of jelly bean shape, and you want to keep it wet. So I'm looking from the side a bit to make sure that it's nice and wet, and then keep looking sort of from the side to see that it's wet. And the wet on wet technique, it needs to be wet. And now I'm getting my neutral tint. I think it's neutral tint. This could be Davies Grey. And then I'm painting inside, and it's going to go really, really soft like that. And then just keep adding more to make it darker, so you can get that really lovely soft edge to it. There you go, Steve. Soft edge. It's just dripping down. And then again, we're going to want to have clean the brush. You're going to want to have clean. Oh, I just dripped over the arm, but this is all art, isn't it? There we go. Let's add a bit more in there like that. We're going to have clean water over the ears like that. And again, we're just going to kind of drop in watercolour for the ears on the top like that. And now I am hoping this gum is done. I'm just going to give it a whoosh with my hairdryer. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Do you have a hairdryer, Steve?
I do, but I'm learning. You're teaching me. Yeah, I should take my hairdryer into my studio.
Oh dear. I find myself repeating myself all the time, and this is my hairdryer, which I bought in Boots in
That's a really unusual looking hairdryer.
I know, you can't get them anymore. I bought it in Boots in 1984.
Wow.
And it's still going. It's been with me every day. So you probably weren't even born then, were you? I don't know. So
I was, but I've never had. I don't have that hairdryer.
Now I haven't quite got that clean enough, but anyway. So if we whoosh around on the bottom, on the legs, around there, but going over the edge, and then again we can drop in the legs at the bottom, and so we're trying to sort of leave a little gap down the middle as well, like that. And then now comes the exciting part. We're going to do the eyes.
Oh, excellent.
And so they need to be sort of elliptoid, really, going sort of to the sides like that. And then we're going to put a little nose in on the top of that little anchor kind of thing.
Yeah,
which is
that's a good way of describing it.
It's the mouth, like isn't it? Yeah. And now I need to dry that, and then whoosh, 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 whoosh. Talk amongst yourself. What are people saying? I can see. Peter G, have you just subscribed? Dabby Disco Vlog, thank you so much. Question. How do you deal with having to change a character's look that you've changed and are happy with to please others involved in the book, even if you don't agree with the changes? Editors.
Oh, that's a good question. I think sometimes you have to stand your ground.
You do.
You know, if there's something that, I mean, having said that, you know, sometimes the thing is, right, I'll just say real quickly, I think sometimes we can get so consumed in our own work, and we don't allow ourselves the time away from it that we sometimes need.
Yeah.
Because what I sometimes find is that if I spend some time away from my artwork and then go back to it, I see all sorts of things that I could improve.
Yeah.
So it definitely is good to have a second pair of eyes looking at it. But absolutely, I mean, if my my designer, actually, the editor, they've been amazing. But there have been a couple of occasions when they've made some suggestions, and I've had to stand my ground and say, actually, you know what, I think that you're not, I think that you're maybe wrong.
Well,
So,
I think well, the way I do it is I go, that's really interesting, but I think you have to come up with, you have to stand your ground with a reason. And between you talk, and then quite often you said, right, that's absolutely, and then you go away for 2 days and think, actually, they have got a point, and sometimes you meet in the middle with something even better. I find happens,
absolutely. And sometimes they might make a suggestion, and I won't agree with it, and then later on I'll realise, oh, hang on a minute, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good to sort of have that conversation about the artwork. It's really good to have. I really do benefit from the guidance that the editor and the designer give me.
Yeah.
But there are times when I do, sort of not 100% on board with what they're suggesting.
I think it must be really tricky to be an editor. Because authors and illustrators are quite brittle kind of characters, and not wanting to offend and all that kind of thing. Yes, I think it's and I think maybe some authors are sort of more brittle than others. I should imagine, but I think it's quite a difficult job. I think it's one thing editing and doing the thing, but actually kind of dealing with authors must be quite interesting.
Absolutely, it must be. I guess it's because we spend so long. I mean, I mainly deal with pictures. My books are mainly by illustrators. Illustrating.
Yeah.
But I can imagine if I had spent maybe a year or something, like writing a book, you end up getting so immersed in that world. That book is your baby.
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to, you could possibly be offended, or it could be quite hard sometimes to take criticism. But that's all part of it, really. You kind of just have to take it on board. Sometimes you have to grow a thick skin. Well, actually, you do have to grow a thick skin, to be honest with you, because people can go onto Amazon and they can review your book. They can give you a 1-star review, or on Goodreads, for example. And it's just part of the territory. But that's a whole other subject. But you do have to sort of grow a thick skin.
Well, I'm going back to the painting now because the ink is dry, and I'm going to reveal the eyes. Okay, so if you're watching, so if you remembered, I used this drawing gum, which acts as a resist. So now I'm just going to rub over the top. Oh, woo, look, fantastic. Somehow some has dripped through there, I don't know, but we get this really nice kind of whites of the eyes. And Mr Panda is kind of, he has his eyeballs up at the top, doesn't he?
He's got this sort of deadpan look.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what he's thinking.
So I'm putting him in there, and I'm going to give him a little hat which says donuts on the top.
Brilliant. So what was it you used, Shoo, to actually, some kind of gum, did you say?
It's called drawing gum.
Oh, okay.
Where are we now? PB.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, drawing gum.
Excellent.
And you kind of paint that on. It gums up your paintbrush is something terrible, so you need to wash that immediately with soap. Or use a stick or something.
I'm going to get some of that drawing gum.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
And just
really,
play with it, And
really useful.
And there used to be rubbish. It used to be horrible stuff. So I stopped using it years ago, and then I discovered this new stuff, it just works really nicely. I'm going to show you.
Oh, there he is.
There we go.
Mr Panda.
There we are, Mr Panda.
Brilliant.
I'll zoom out a little bit. So I don't know how you guys are doing at home. Are you doing Mr Pandas? And if you are, put them up with a hashtag Shooby-Doodle, which I can put. Oh, where am I? So many things. I could go ta-da like that. So, so if you put hashtag Shooby-Doodle, then I'll be able to find that on Instagram. Now, I was just thinking also that. There we are. We got this was I think Trails. Is it? I'm so confused. Who gave me a link to this one on the comments, but it's very, very difficult to keep following, and then also means I'm probably got inappropriate stuff showing on the side there as well. So, but anyway, there we go. So if you do type hashtag Shooby-Doodle, I'll be able to find it on Instagram and Twitter too. So there we go. We can come back to Steve now. Come back to Steve.
And I look forward to seeing them.
Yeah.
I would like to see them too. So I'll be looking at the hashtag too.
And I'm just going to have another quick look at your YouTube channel. Oh yes, no, let me update. You now have 37 subscribers. There we are. Hey guys, go over to Steve Antony. In fact, no, your Steve LS Drawing is your.
I'm not. Do you know what? I'm new to the whole YouTube thing, so I think if you just put in Steve Antony, you should be able to find it.
We'll get there, yeah.
But the quickest way probably would to go onto my website, steveantony.com, and then follow the YouTube icon.
Yeah.
But I think you have to have so many subscribers before you can actually have like a personalized.
I'm afraid
domain
so. Yeah.
Or something. Yes, I thought so.
Yeah, it'll.
But this is new territory for me. So, I'm really excited to be doing this.
Welcome to the club. Everybody's watching has probably been doing this for years and years and years and years. So, what question have we got? D Costa says your hairdryer is as old as I am. Dabby Disco Vlogs, that panda is so cute. Every video you do, I love your illustrations. Oh, is that me? You can tell Steve that I subscribed. There we go. Good.
Yay. Excellent. Thank you.
Seraphina nicely said, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Renita, thank you so much. Seraphina, great advice. Kathy Carmack, Shoo, what kind of camera do you use? Well, look, I'm going to switch to that camera. This is my really nice Canon 400 or something, where I look absolutely beautiful. But the other one that I'm speaking to here, because I haven't worked out, something's gone wrong with the connection, so I should be feeding Skype straight in here. But I'm using a Logitech something or other. It's a Logitech something on that you're seeing me on that one. There we are. So, what camera? Jessica Taylor. He looks so cute. Are we talking about Steve here, or are we talking about the panda? I think they both look cute. Well, no, I didn't say that. Did I say that? No. D Costa. When you colour, do you stick to a specific palette, or do you colour instinctively? And how do you ensure a book's colours are consistent? Well, I think if you're doing that thing on Photoshop, you probably have a kind of a palette there that you're constantly referring back to, do you?
Well, I do. And, you know, the reason I actually use Photoshop for colouring in is because I'm red-green colourblind or red-green colour deficient. So I struggle. So I struggle to see all the colours. So anything with red or green in it, so that's purple, pink, loads of colours, I can't really see very well. So what I do is I limit my colours. Right. And you're absolutely right, Shoo. I do have a palette or a swatch that I do use. So most of my books don't have that many colours in them.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that.
So the Mr Panda books, for example, well, Please Mr Panda, the first one in the series, is pretty much black and white all the way through, except the colours of the donuts. But my advice to anyone who's not sure about colours and how to use them, what I would say is don't think too much about the actual colour, think more about the tone and whether the tones work together. That's what I do. I think about the tones and not to worry too much about whether you're using the right colour. You know, because, you don't have to, it doesn't need to be realistic. You don't have to paint the grass green. And actually, if you were to take a photograph of the grass, put it into Photoshop, zoom right in, and then use your eyedropper tool. And selected a pixel, I guarantee you that won't be green.
Yeah, it'll be
it'll be something
purple
else.
or brown or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Blue,
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I mean, I think my palette, my palette is really kind of dictated. You know, I mean, there's which camera am I on? Look, that's no. I use this. This is the one that I use when I'm working. So there's not actually that many colours in there, and I think the more that you draw and the more you paint, you just kind of really work on a palette, and then every now and then I discover some kind of new thing. Oh, I love the way that that works with that, and then suddenly, oh, you want to use that in everything, and you just keep at it, don't you? You know, yeah. I think the more you do it, the more you get used to it. But certainly with the book, you do need to try and keep fairly consistent. And if you're doing your kind of thing on Photoshop, then you have got that swatch, and you can kind of keep referring to that, can't you? Yeah. What else have we got here? Carrie H. Cattle says, Shoo, I have one of your books. How marvellous. Which one? D. Costa says, as in contrasting the tones to add the interest. Does that make sense? What you were saying about tone?
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Contrasting tones, for sure. Because I try to avoid putting two tones together that are similar. Because thinking about tones and contrasting them can add depth. And it can allow certain things to pop out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just use one color. You can use black and white and then just one color.
Yeah.
I want something to really sort of pop out. So, for example, one of my books called The Queen's Hat, I only used two colors really.
Yeah, because you got red in the soldiers, haven't you, on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue and red.
Let me see if I can find that.
And I used the same colors throughout the whole book. Which was actually really fun. I mean, I didn't have to think too much about whether I'm using the right colors. It was more about finding the right tones.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm clicking. I'm trying to get there.
Oh, no worries.
Got the Queen's collection. So we got the Queen's hat. So I can. Yeah, if I just do that, then you should see. There's the Queen's hat. So you can see that's the Queen. So you got all the soldiers are just in red and black, haven't we? And then the Queen is in a kind of a blue.
And if you scroll down, you can. I don't know if you're looking at the page I'm thinking. If you scroll down, you might see some images from the book.
Here we are. Yeah, and lots of animals, all again in black and white, aren't they? And then the Queen just standing out in blue. Yeah. Oh, and the corgi. The corgis.
And the corgi. Yes.
And the birds in the background.
Do you have a video for how to draw corgi? Shoo?
I think I have, yes.
I only ask because I really struggle to draw. I struggle to draw that corgi, and I still don't even think it looks like a corgi. But it's too late now because the book's been published. But I just wondered. I have to look out for it. So if I do another Queen's Hat book, I have to watch your video.
I think I have done how to draw a corgi, actually. Yes, so there we are. What else have we got? Tues says, Shoo, can you shout me out? I'm subscribed to your channel, like the way you draw, and I really want to meet you. Hey, Tudor G, I'm shouting you out. Okay. Steve, do you want to shout out to Tudor G?
To who, sorry?
Tudor G. Go.
Tudor G, hey, how's it going?
Can we do that? I was going to give Tudor G a big clap there. Hang on, if I do that. Yay! Tudor G! There we go. Tilly010, who has been following me for years, says, hey, Shoo, do you use anything specific for white highlights? Now, well, I like to use the white of the paper for the white highlights and paint around. So while I'm painting, I'm thinking that's where the highlight's going to be, and I don't paint in that area. Because with watercolour, I can say it every day, I say it all on every video. With watercolour, it's about putting transparencies over the light, and the white of the paper is the light, and that's where the light's coming from. And so if you don't paint on it, that's going to be the brightest part of the picture. And you can get white gouache or poster paint or something like that and paint them in afterwards, but somehow you don't quite get the life in it that you do from the paper. It's a strange thing. So, Carrie H. Cattle says, I have the book Dragon Gold. Fantastic. You signed it when you came to my school. Brilliant. I hope you enjoyed it. Percy33, beautiful, fun illustrations. Love the humour. Sonia F. Hi, Sonia. I love... hi, Shoo. I've finally been able to make it to your live stream. Yay. Crispin Dry. Ha. I missed a bunch of them too. So, but you're here now. Judah G says, thanks for the shout out. And I'm super fine. There we go. Cool. So, well, we got kind of 5 minutes or something, I reckon. You still okay?
I'm good.
Good.
I was going to ask you, Stu, what do you prefer to use? I know you've used watercolor there. Is that your preferred medium? Watercolor?
It is. Yeah. I mean, I went through this whole digital thing kind of in the late 90s, early 2000s with Flash, and I discovered that you could use Flash to print out as well.
Yes.
And then I just got desperately bored with it. But I learned so much from it. Or that whole thing about layers, which is what you're doing on Photoshop.
Yeah.
And it changed my whole way of seeing things. So I see watercolour in terms of layers like that now.
Yes.
But then I kind of went back to drawing, and I'm just much happier with a pen in my hand, sort of on paper and that kind
I suppose there's more control. I feel like I've got more control when I'm using a pencil.
Yeah.
But I do like the spontaneousness
Yeah.
of using paints.
Yeah.
And I suppose when you're using paint, you can't worry too much about being too accurate. You kind of have to let it do its thing. But I'm in awe of anyone that uses paints for their illustrations.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we got D Costa says, that book looks gorgeous, Steve. Must try to find it and add to my collection. Such a good example of a restrained colour palette.
Oh, thank you.
Sarah says, what kind of music, if any, do you like listening to the most when you're drawing? Dunno.
That's a good question. Actually, I find if I'm listening to music with words, it's distracting. So I actually listen to either classical music, any kind of classical music, or I listen to I listen to sometimes relaxation music while I'm drawing. Yeah. But I also listen to audiobooks too. Yeah. So if I'm doing something that doesn't require too much it's sort of colouring in or something. Yeah. Doesn't require too much concentration, then I'll listen to an audiobook.
Yeah, I do that too. In our library, we can download audiobooks from our library online, the town library. And but they all seem to be Australian thrillers, So there's always these really tough stories about, these guys shooting up down in Melbourne or something like that. I suppose everyone's embedded in Australia at the moment. So there we go. Dabby Disco's enjoying this video. Nick S, do you use masking to preserve your highlights there? But I just did. You weren't watching. I was just doing that to preserve the eyes, but that was for a very specific reason. Nick S, you'll have to go back and watch that bit. Dabby Disco, on my YouTube channel, I did a Shooby-Doodle drawing, which is Mr Panda, and in the description I put Steve Antony's channel. Fantastic, well done.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that. I'll take a look at that.
Now, we got about sort of a few minutes left. What's your biggest advice to somebody who's just sort of getting going? And particularly, I find a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I don't want to show it to anybody," that sort of thing. It's a thing in here, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, one thing I would say is that. Well, two things. One thing is just draw what you see in front of you. Yeah. Just observational drawing. That's a really good way of practicing and learning new ways to make marks. And don't be too precious about it. You should see some of my sketchbooks, full of squiggles from where I'm trying to draw people walking past me. That's the first thing. Second thing is this is going to sound really corny, but it's true. In order for your work to be authentically you have to follow your heart, and you have to do things, draw what drawing is a way of expressing yourself and your uniqueness. And I think it's important just to be you and be you in your drawing, and that does sometimes come with time. And another piece of advice, the third piece of advice, is find look out for mentors like yourself, Shoo, people that are there that you can learn from, and then that will help guide you towards being a better illustrator.
Yeah, and I think it's, you kind of think, oh, God, I wish I could draw like them. But you don't want to draw like them. You want to draw like yourself. So you learn from a mentor. Don't try to draw like them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I said earlier that sometimes I write a story and I think I don't think I'm going to be the person to illustrate this.
Yeah.
You know, I see other illustrators and I think, wow, that's amazing. I don't know if I'm going to ever be able to illustrate like that, but why should I?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I should just do. Other people might look at my work and think, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
So you just got to you just be you, do you.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Hannah Fountain. I've got to find the Queen's hat. My son will love it. Perfect to read before our next UK trip. Karina Christia says, I can send you a copy of my audiobook Whispers and Other Strange Stories, Steve, if you'd like.
Oh, that sounds really intriguing. I like the sound of that.
Great. So you can find you on your website. You could probably get a connection.
Send it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Just
excellent.
Sure.
Jessica Taylor, how long does it take you to create a book? In 3 words. in 30 seconds.
I can't even say it. I can't even say what came to my head just then. I'm not going to because the kids watching this. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to just say, okay, 3 words. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. Some people think that picture books don't take that long. But they do. I mean, I can remember showing my stepdad a picture from one of my books, and I said, how long do you think this took me, this drawing? Yeah. And he said, 10 minutes. Yeah. And I was like, what? I mean, if you would have said 1 hour, I would have still been a bit offended. Yeah. But he said 10 minutes. So this took me a week to illustrate. Yeah. And Chitty Pitty Bang Bang took me about 8 months altogether.
Yeah.
But that I'm talking about a book that's got 15 double-page spreads in it. So it depends. It does depend, but it normally takes a long time. Yeah. So, unlike creating one single image, which in itself can take a long time, when you're creating a picture book, you're looking at 15 possibly, or more. If you're doing vignettes and half pages, lots and lots and lots of illustrations. Yeah. So it can take a long time.
It can do, and it's not just sitting down and painting one picture. There's all the roughs and the sketches and the working out and everything that goes into it as well, which people just don't see, that stuff. All the pages and pages that lie on the floor at the end.
No, absolutely right. I mean, I'm sure you must be the same, Shoo. I've got so many, I don't like to use this term, but I'm going to say it anyway. I've got so many bad drawings, in my opinion. Yeah. Bad drawings. Yeah. There are like, I don't know, 20 or 30 drawings that come before the drawing that I end up using in the book. Yeah,
it's like a long jumper doing a run up. It's kind of thing.
It's true, absolutely. Yeah. And no one really sees it. You're right.
Yeah. So we got Tilly says thank you. Debbie Disco vlogs, please. I'm not sure what about. Chris says great advice. I know Steve Antony channel. I've just been able to have to go back at the end. Thanks. Awesome, amazing, brilliant, great advice. Good. Thank you for this encouragement. Love the advice. So good. Great guest. I enjoyed the banter between you guys. This is the best advice ever. And D. Costa says, Shoo is definitely my mentor. Oh, it gives me hope when I feel like I'm just rubbish at art. Helps me keep going. Just keep going. Just keep doing it. Practice, practice, practice. And in fact, that's kind of, I think, I need to go and put the tea on because Mrs. Rayner is actually home. Mrs. Rayner works at the hospital, so I need to go and hear all the latest. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been sort of technically different. I will try and get this Skype thing sorted out for next time. And thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. It's been great fun. And lovely to see you. Love to see you. Now we're not on the same committee anymore. So we don't get to see you like that. So, but I'll see you around somewhere anyway, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe we'll do another one with a better connection sometime.
Oh, this has been great. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, well, you can go and watch it. Yeah, you can go and watch it back now and see what it was all about.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will be back again tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about light and shade and shadow. Ooh. So, bye, Steve.
Bye. Take care.
Bye,
Shoo.
and
Nice
thank
to see
you very much. Thank
Bye,
you very much for
everyone.
your time. Bye, everyone. Well, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed that, then please do make sure you are subscribed to the Shoo Rayner Drawing channel, and while you're about it, click the little bell next to the subscribe button and you will be notified when the next live drawing video will be. In the meantime, keep drawing, practice, and I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye bye.